Tracheoesophageal fistula in a newborn. Tracheoesophageal fistula in a newborn. What is a tracheoesophageal fistula? It is an abnormal opening between the trachea and esophagus. During pregnancy, trachea and esophagus baby are formed from a single conduit. During the first quarter, it is supposed to separate into two ducts. But when the wall of tissue between the trachea and the esophagus does not completely form, leaving an opening between the two ducts, this opening is a fistula. Epidemiology. Tracheoesophageal fistula is a common congenital anomaly that occurs in 1 out of every 3,500 live births. TE fistula is commonly associated with other congenital malformations, particularly cardiac defects. Pro. The repair of the TAF usually gives good results. Once the fistula is closed, many babies have no problems.
Tracheoesophageal fistula is a birth defect in which the esophagus has an abnormal connection to the trachea.
A tracheoesophageal fistula is a birth defect in which the esophagus has an abnormal connection to the trachea. The esophagus is the tube that food passes through from the mouth to the stomach, and the trachea is the windpipe that air passes through from the mouth and nose to the lungs. The trachea forms during the 6th week of pregnancy. Here, you can see the tube that will eventually form all the organs of the digestive system. The trachea and lungs grow from the part of the digestive tube that will eventually become the esophagus. For unknown reasons, the esophagus and trachea may grow and separate abnormally during this time. The esophagus may end in a blind pouch with missing gaps and be abnormally narrow. This absence or narrowing of a natural body passageway is called atresia. The esophagus and trachea may also have an abnormal connection, called a tracheoesophageal fistula. Here we see the most common type of tracheoesophageal fistula in a newborn infant. The upper esophagus ends in a blind pouch, and the lower esophagus connects to the trachea. This is a serious problem because stomach contents can travel up the esophagus and pass through the fistula into the trachea and lungs. The fistula can also cause difficulty breathing for the newborn, since air can now bypass the lungs and enter the stomach. Before a tracheoesophageal fistula repair procedure, an intravenous line will be started. The baby may be given antibiotics through the IV to decrease the chance of infection. The baby will be given general anesthesia, which will put the baby to sleep for the entire operation. A breathing tube will be inserted through the mouth and down the throat to help the baby breathe during the operation. The surgeon will make an incision in the baby's chest, usually on the right side. Through the incision, the surgeon will gently move the lungs aside to view the trachea and esophagus. After